They obviously come to a project, but other workers show up sometimes, so that's what we're investigating right now.
Is this unprecedented? Is it anything like this ever happened?
Not in Baltimore.
Sir, can you talk more about the workers on the bridge, what was going on, and how many vehicles you think might actually be in the water?
They were basically doing some concrete deck repair. We don't have the number of the vehicles.
Do we know who they work for?
I don't have that right offhand.
How long will the port be closed? Any estimate?
Too early to determine.
Are you still looking for 7 people?
A number of people. That's the one number that we've had, but obviously we're researching to see if anyone else was on that bridge.
Can you speak to some of the challenges, the freezing water, the current, the darkness this morning as you were searching for individuals?
All of the above, to be frank. It's a very, very tough situation. 1 a.m. in the morning, very little information at that time. It happened instantaneously, as you've seen.
Sir, it's been a number of hours at this point. What can you tell family members who might be watching about any hope that you will still recover survivors?
We actually have set up a facility for any family members. We have mental health professionals there as well, so we are dealing with that.
And are you ruling out any kind of intentional motive?
We don't see anything that relates to that at this time. It's an open investigation, but there's nothing that points to that in any direction.
First calls after the incident come in directly from the ship. When the ship hit there, who were the first ones to make the 911 calls to kind of alert you?
I don't know. I don't have that information.
Do you have any indication whether the ship lost power?
It's too early.
And just for clarification,
I'm sorry.
last
question,
yeah.
please.
port is closed except for trucks moving
Right.
transport out.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. We'll be back. We'll be back surely about 9:30. I'm sorry.
This bridge was built in the 19th. It took about 5 years to construct it, right? Any idea what we can expect moving forward? I mean, the bridge
Too early. Obviously, we reached out to a number of engineering companies, and so obviously we have a long road in front of us to get to that point. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you tell us where family members are supposed to be out?
That was Paul Wiedefeld speaking there. Now the Secretary of the Maryland Department of Transportation, but a familiar face for us closer to the DMV as he was head of Metro, making it clear that this is still an active search and rescue mission. And we now know that there were MDOT workers on that bridge doing some sort of concrete deck repair work. Unclear how many, though, were on that bridge working.
Right. Still don't know the 2 people who survived this thus far, and we're taking one to the hospital and one refusing any treatment, but that sort of fills in one of the puzzle pieces that perhaps, but again, that is speculation on my part. We do not know exactly who those survivors were. Heard from someone who is representing the Coast Guard, and just talk about some of the vessels, the search and rescue vessels that are there. You can see, if you look closely in the middle of your screen, almost chopper flying. There are also 3 small boats, she said, a large vessel, and they are working in concert with many jurisdictions on the scene there as this search and rescue mission continues.
Yeah, and one of the questions, I'm sure if you guys just heard the presser with us, the question of, is this an act of terrorism? Why is the FBI involved? And Paul Wiedefeld really speaking frankly that, this is standard operating procedure in an event like this. That is why the FBI is involved. They are doing their due diligence to make sure that they cover every aspect of this investigation.
Right. I'm saying at this point it is still an open investigation, but that they have found no connection to terrorism. But again, standard operating procedure for the federal government to be on the scene in that way. Also talked about some of the things that Jonathan mentioned, the water and the water conditions and the depth of the water right there at that point, some 50 feet deep. So it just speaks to all the challenges that the search and rescue teams are
really
facing.
A tough situation out there.
And the light just coming up. It's just, light now. What, about an hour or so? So imagine that pitch black and how dark that deep water can be. Also, a question was asked about family members and those who might be waiting to hear something if they knew that their loved ones or friends or what have you, they were crossing the bridge in the middle of the night, as they said. For us, it's work time, but the middle of the night, about 1:30 or so, and they've set up a facility for family members. They're talking with them, also counselors there as well. So it does seem like, this incident happened, what is it, 7:30, was it about 6 hours ago. Seems like all of the bases, as much as it can be, they're being covered right now. And the search continues, hopefully to find someone.
It is an active search and rescue mission at this point. Let's listen to, about 30 minutes ago now, we heard from the fire chief of Baltimore City as well as the mayor of Baltimore, Brandon Scott. Let's listen to what they had to say earlier this morning.
We are still very much in an active search and rescue posture at this point, and we will continue to be for some time. We have a large area that we have to search. This includes on the surface of the water, subsurface, as well as on the deck of the ship itself.
We have to be thinking about the families and people impacted, folks who we have to try to find and save. This is what our focus should be on right now, and we're going to continue to work in partnership with every part of government to do everything that we can to get us through the other side of this tragedy.
So again, let's give you a better idea of where this is happening in relation to D.C. People heading from the district into Baltimore, they use this bridge instead of going downtown to cut down on commute time. And the 4-lane bridge is just over a mile and a half long. It crosses the wide part of the Patapsco River. It's closer to the mouth of the Baltimore Harbor before running back into I-95 headed for Delaware. So a big impact for those who take this bridge every day. Let's check in with Lindsay Nance once again, who has the workarounds now. You know, it's 7:30. It's still really early. People getting up, trying to figure out if they have to go in that direction, how to get there.
Yeah, exactly. We're starting to see a bigger impact on traffic now that a lot more people are waking up and heading out the door. Again, as Allison and Annie just said, this is going to be a few miles south of downtown. So a ton of people usually take this bridge to avoid that downtown Baltimore traffic. Here's a live look from Sky 9 showing you that bridge collapse. I mean, terrifying scene here as that search and rescue is still underway. A lot of police and emergency crews are also on scene, on land and in the water, detouring traffic off of the roadway. So latest information we just got from Maryland Transportation is that the outer loop of the Beltway that closure starts around Route 10. That's exit 2. So that's where you're going to be detoured off the roadway. Inner loop on the other side of the bridge will be detoured closer towards 157. That's exit 43. So if you are trying to head towards downtown, you're going to be detoured south at Route 10. If you're trying to head inbound from the outskirts, you're going to be detoured up towards 157 at exit 43. These detours are going to be in place for quite some time. So if I were you, if you are coming in from DC trying to head up north towards Baltimore, I would stick with 95 or 97 the whole way through. If you do need to head across the river or into downtown, you can stick with 95 the entire time, or you can hop south of that and take 895 instead. Right now it looks like 95 is going to be a few miles faster for you than 895, seeing a lot of heavy traffic here. I'll keep you updated on what else I find out and other detours to get you around those delays coming up.
Lindsay, thank you. 7:34 right now. Let's check back in with our Jacqueline Quinn, who was there since the beginning of this. Jacqueline, what's the latest now?
Yeah, so we just heard from the Maryland Department of Transportation Secretary Paul Wiedefeld, and he also echoed what we heard from the mayor earlier, that this is still right now an active search and rescue operation at this time. In fact, we're seeing some of those elements happen around us. We know that the Coast Guard has their helicopters up there. There's one helicopter over there that may be from the state of Maryland, but the area they're concentrating on, you know, where this bridge fell into the water, we're seeing so much better right now what's left of the Key Bridge, a part of the frame there in the water, and it just abruptly ends, you know, where this ramp would lead cars over the river right now. It is not happening. And then to the right of that, you see containers. That's where the ship is. That's where some of the police investigation, those divers and multiple agencies are concentrating their work right now, again, because this is a search and rescue effort. They are looking for people that may be trapped. It was murky. It was dark earlier, hard to see. They said that they were looking possibly for 7 people. They were using sonar equipment to figure that out. But at this point, they said, you know, there could be more. We're seeing more light come up, and maybe that is something that they will figure out in the next couple of hours. Now, they did talk about the FBI being involved in this, but that seems to be standard operating procedure because at this point, they said that there were no indications that maybe this was an act of terrorism. Certainly, a lot of people worried anytime that this does happen. And an update from earlier is that they did recover 2 people. One person, they said, had serious injuries. They were taken to the hospital. Another person refused treatment and they were uninjured, according to officials when they spoke with us earlier. Now, again, this happened at 1:30 this morning. And since then, we've seen multiple agencies come out here respond to this massive rescue effort to help some of the people. We know that at the time we're crossing over that bridge. Again, it's unclear how many people may have been on that bridge. They're still working to figure that out at this point. But this is just a look at the scene out here right now as officials continue to move out of this area. Now, they did say they would have another update for us at 9:30. And as soon as they do that, we will update you with those details. For now in Dundalk, I'm Jacqueline Quinn. We'll send it back to you.
Jacqueline, thanks. Just before 6 o'clock this morning, Maryland Governor Wes Moore did share a statement with us, and it said in part, I have declared a state of emergency here in Maryland, and we are working with an interagency team to quickly deploy federal resources from the Biden administration.
He went on to say that we are thankful for the brave men and women who are carrying out efforts to rescue those involved and pray for everyone's safety.
Of course, we will continue to stay on top of this for you as this morning continues. We've been on it for the last 3 hours or so, but for now we're going to pass things over to CBS Mornings, who are also following this story, and we'll be back with you with an update at 7:57 right here on WUSA 9.